I've had enough times of like wanting it in the beginning and then getting to the end and being disappointed.
No doubt.
How about we finish a year and not be disappointed? Like, what would that look like? What would that feel like to have a year that you end the year and you're not disappointed, right? Like, just imagine that for a second and let that emotion and that energy then drive you. Okay, so now this is why we got to do this, because we're not going to have another one of those disappointing end of years.
That's right.
We're going to have an end of the year like we rock this thing out and we're just like, man, I did everything that I could to make everything that did happen, and I'm doggone proud of myself, you know?
What is up? Welcome back to the CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins. Man, I'm excited for today's episode for a few big reasons. Number one, I have so much respect for this guy. He brings so much knowledge in his help the industry in so many different ways. His YouTube channel, Life Insurance Today, is exploding. He was on one of our agency investors show. He's just a good dude, man, that spoke on stages and helps a ton of agents. And now he's even talking about this Giants community that we're talking about today. When it comes to accountability and mentorship. And so please welcome back from the Pritchett Agency, Edward Pritchett. What's up, buddy?
Hello. Always good to be on a Cody Askins podcast, where there's power players, you know, whether it's a show that we're getting to do, whether it's on the 8% stage.
True.
Just love what you do for our industry, and you too. You're just a good guy, you know.
Thanks,
just
man.
Love to find those people that you can just hang out with and enjoy building and going on this journey together with. So really cool. Thank you for that.
Thank you, buddy. I'm excited for today's topic too, around mentorship and accountability. And I can tell you guys, as you're watching today, you're going to want to take some notes. There's going to be some absolute nuggets. Before we get there, though, where did you and your agency finish in 2024? It's February 3rd at the time of recording this, and I'm curious because I know it was a pretty good number.
It was a good number. I have to say it. I'm not own it because it is what it was. We finished just shy of $49 million of production for last year. And I say that with a little bit of disappointment because I'll be honest, Cody, my goal at the start of the year was a lot more than that. And it's one of the reasons that, you know, every now and again, we all have to make shifts to start getting us going into a new way. So, you know, you mentioned the Giants community, and we'll talk about that. But as I was doing kind of my end of the year routine, and it was going through one of the courses that I've done this for 6 years. It just made me realize I had a chance to look back at the 4 goals and the 4 areas of my life that I set the previous year. I was like, I know why I didn't hit that one. I know why that one came up a little bit short, and just it reignited, you know, a little bit of heat and fervor that I have been missing, to be honest with you, that I've been missing from the insurance industry. And I'm excited for this year because that's certainly back in a new kind of way.
Yeah. How important is it on that note for someone to be really, really focused and ignited? Like, how much does it help their actual success to just be really on fire and focused at this thing?
I mean, what else? If you're not on fire, like we've all done things where, I don't know if I can say half. Can I finish that phrase? Half-assed. Right? We've all done stuff that way, and we know what the results are when we do it that way. And we've all done stuff where we're just passionate. You're just inspired for some reason, and it just feels like things happen more quickly. Results come faster. Results are what you want or better, right? Than when you do it the other way. So it's like to find passion, fire about what you're doing. Like if you don't have it. I know I've interviewed quite a few potential agents over the last 6-8 weeks. And, you know, one of the things that I ask, the first question is, why insurance? And what I'm looking for is I'm looking for some kind of passion for insurance. Like, I get it. I'm like, oh, insurance is just, you know, policies and death claims, and it's boring and whatever. If that's how you feel, stop doing it.
Yeah.
Go find something else that you can get passionate about, right? Like, I get passionate about life insurance because I know what it did for my family. I've delivered death claims and seen what it's doing for others' families. I've delivered living benefits and lifetime income payments. And I've seen and I've heard the excitement of a client say, I'm so glad we did this. And it's like that's like my new drug, right? Like, how can I get more of that? Like, I want to get addicted to that, and so what do I need to do to get that to happen more often, right? Where I have a
Right.
client or a widower or a widow saying thank you so much for what you did, right?
Hmm.
And let that give me that motivation to get passionate about it again, right?
Yeah.
Um, I mean, because you look at all the things people are passionate. Like, we just, Super Bowl's coming up, right? You look at football season. You look at these places like New York and Buffalo, New York, and in where the Chiefs hit in Wisconsin, right? And people get crazy for a freezing cold football game. They're spending hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars. They're die. They know every stat, every figure, and guess what? They never get a check cut to them by the Green Bay Packers,
Mm.
or by the Buffalo Bills, or by the Cincinnati Bengals. Like, they could even pay, if they wanted to. But I'm sorry, it's bad. I like Cincinnati's not bad. It's Cincinnati. I mean,
That's good.
but like, you know what I'm saying? It's like that you're not. But people get passionate about that. But then
Yeah.
with your profession, with your
Mm.
career, are you passionate? Because that's what's
It's good.
creating your lifestyle. And if I'm not passionate about it, then guess what? I'm leaving my lifestyle up to somebody else. It's
That's right.
leaving it up to chance, really. So that's where I've really been wanting to, like, gotta lean into being passionate about insurance once again.
True.
Because if I'm not, the people around me aren't going to be. And this is what we do. This is what we
Amen.
do.
I just on that note, I have a local agent that I've like passed my book of business to years ago, just because I haven't been selling him forever. And yeah, one of my old clients passed away. He had life insurance. His wife's going to be taken care of. We're going to be delivering a check to their family, and it's like, he texted me. It was really cool. He said, what you did mattered. And I sat there. I'm like, I almost got emotional because we do take it for granted. Like, we're just
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I get to go meet somebody and make some money and sell them. But we don't really realize what's going to happen in this case, probably 9 years later, 10 years later, and I guarantee you the wife actually said, like, Cody, thank you for helping us when you did.
Mhm.
It's like, dude, if that doesn't, like, yeah, it's hard to imagine it, until you're Edward Pritchett and you've experienced it, right? Or myself or others. It helps when you've experienced it, but that is why we do what we do, and it is extremely important. Also, too, on that note, if I can change the subject, you said you talked about 4 goals in 4 areas. And I always talk about the importance of goals and having goals. And we have goals within our company. We have goals for literally everything we do, and there's so many agents that are just floating through the business. Most people don't realize this. You're 900% more likely to achieve your goals if you write them down every single day. What were you able to share what some of Edward Pritchett's goals were for last year, whether you hit them or fell short? You at least had them and you were shooting for something.
Yeah. So one of my goals, like I said, I shared earlier, $49 million, just under $49 million in production. One of the goals for last year was 65.
Mm.
All right, so $15 million, like that's missing your target by a little bit, right?
Yep.
And what you were saying there too, like, um, you know, I have this is my remarkable, not getting paid by them or anything, I'm just showing it.
Not yet.
Not yet, right? But like on here, I have these 4 areas. There's personal development, career goals, adventure goals, and contribution. And one of the things, I've done this for 6 years now. This was the 6th year where Tony Robbins has his Awaken the Giant Within kind of short form audio. It's available on Audible, but it's like 2 hours, 15 minutes. And he just kind of walks you through his masterpiece, the book, Awaken the Giant Within, and works with you on developing, like, what's your game plan for this. Not even this year. You can do this at any time. It doesn't matter when you do it. He doesn't call it a New Year's thing. It's just like your 4 goals. Like, over the next year, this is what I'm going to do. Because most people set resolutions, and we're now past, D-Day, Death Day, so to speak, January 19th. That's where like 91% of people have quit their goals by January 19th.
Wow.
Right. So some of you may be watching this and you need a reboot anyway. So that would be a good one to pick up. And then it's like you sit down, you work on those 4 areas, you develop like he talks about like write down to everything you want in those 4 areas.
Mm.
Okay, but then pick the one thing that's like this year, this is what has to happen, and then write out a paragraph. Why does this have to happen this year? And then every day, twice a day, you come back and you review that. And here's what has happened as I've come back to review that. Like I come back to it, Cody, and I'm
Awesome.
updating that as I'm going. Right, like it's getting deeper. The emotion is getting stronger. Why are we going for this on the contribution side? Why are we going this for the career goal? Why are we doing this for the personal goal? And then whenever I start slacking on like I'm not doing things, right? I'm not actually doing things to move myself forward. I'm like, geez,
Mm.
there's no progress happening here.
Yeah.
So what am I going to do tomorrow? And it gives me that opportunity to write down, okay, so tomorrow I'm going to call this person, or I'm going to book that appointment, or I'm going to, right? And it's like that's what allows a goal to come to reality. Like it's one thing to set a New Year's resolution. I set it, and then maybe I set a little game plan and I go out and start doing it. But like I want to review my why every day,
True.
because that's like action takes energy, and the energy for action is emotion. And if I don't build that emotion, like the emotions,
Yeah.
we all know how emotions go, right? We're not talking about
True.
just a feeling. We're talking about emotion. A feeling is the long-term experience of a particular emotion about something that's happened. An emotion is an instantaneous experience of energy that has a certain feel to it, a certain context to it, right?
Yes.
And so I want to remind myself a couple times throughout the day, like I'm doing this career goal of XYZ because, and
Mm.
I gotta feel that. I gotta live in that space so that I can be driven to go out and do the work that's required. Because all these goals, every goal you have, there's some work that's required. And so
Yeah.
just to be able to go back and have a game plan, have a format for how I can continually stay in that place. And that's where he calls it Awaken the Giants Within. So we had this meeting at the end of the year, had about 500 agents, not just from the Pritchett Agency, but like we invited people from, like it did cost anybody, people from all over. It doesn't,
Cool.
you don't have to be in insurance. Like this isn't just insurance specific. This is life
True.
specific. And people joined in and just were listening and doing their own coursework through it. And then we started a community, call it our Giants community.
Mm.
Uh, just that idea that there is a giant. If the best of you got released, that is a giant,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, how do we get that person on the outside?
That's right.
The giant version of you on the outside. And it's really about just reminding ourselves that that person is there. He, she is inside. We can be accountable. We can share with other people what our goals are. Like we've had enough dream killers in our life. Like, how about we get around some people who, as crazy as it sounds, just support our dreams, right?
Mm-hmm.
And support us when we made it. We did the things we need to do. And guess what? There are some days like, man, today's rough. Like I'm having one of those today. Like I'm looking at things like, oh gosh, it's the end of January, 1st of February, and we've only gotten this far. Whew, it's gonna be a long 11 more months. But then to be able to turn to a group of people and say, hey, having a struggle today, but I'm still committed, and then other people just say, yeah, go get it, keep going, we support, right? Like
Yes.
we all need that to a certain degree, and so just kind of working that together. It's where over this next year, I think a lot of people who are really committed to not just resolutions, but to some goals, and they have a framework for how to do it. They're going to be the ones to see some really big 2025. It's an auspicious year for many reasons, and I think that there's going to be some people that are going to have some really big wins because they're tapping into things like that.
Yes, I do too. I do too. What was the fourth? You said personal career contribution. Was there a fourth?
Personal career contribution and adventure.
Adventure. I like. Okay, cool. That's
Yeah.
fun. That's fun.
Yeah, you gotta have something in there that's like driving. I know Jesse Itzler, who has spoken on your stage before. He uses his. Well, I guess I've already said it once, so I can say it again. But he uses his big ass calendar
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
really drive people towards
Yes.
like what's that adventurous thing that you're going to make sure that you're incorporating. Because like that's the thing. Like as we're on this journey, we're supposed to be like enjoy this thing, right?
Yes.
And so like being able to put that into there as well. One Tony Robbins genius. Like he has studied the stuff. He knows the stuff forward and backwards. And when he's saying like follow this and you'll see results,
Yeah.
it's like here's how I know it works, because I look at his results with the people he works with,
That's right.
right? Like, go to the source that's getting the results that you want, and then follow the path, follow the system,
That's right.
right? And that's why I'm, for me personally, excited about this year, and excited for people who are choosing to really make that a part of their journey this year. Like, they're like, I've had enough times of like wanting it in the beginning and then getting to the end and being disappointed.
No doubt.
How about we finish a year and not be disappointed? Like, what would that look like? What would that feel like to have a year that
Mm,
you end the year and you're not disappointed, right? Like, just imagine that for a second and let that emotion and that energy then drive you. Okay,
yeah,
so now this is why we got to do this, because we're not going to have another one of those disappointing end of years,
that's
right?
right.
We're going to have an end of the year like we rock this thing out and we're just like, man, I did everything that I could to make everything that did
Wow.
happen, and I'm doggone proud of myself, you know?
I'm going to interrupt the podcast to tell you about our Kaboom leads that are literally blowing up. If you would love to never get disconnected numbers or wrong numbers ever again, then you will love our leads at Kaboom Leads. All of our lead types, we text the prospect a 6-digit security code. They go back in the funnel and put that in to verify that it is a real, accurate cell phone number, and they've responded to a text message. We do this for all of our lead types. If you haven't tried Kaboom Leads, you can use coupon code podcast to get 10% off of your very first order at kaboomleads.com. Back to the show. Powerful. You know what? You're talking about the calendar, the Big A calendar by Jesse Itzler. Somebody actually mailed me one. I don't even know where it came from. I still don't, but I have one, which was really, maybe it was him. I don't know, but somebody just shipped it to me. It's really cool. But also, too, you were talking about a couple different things. Talking about Tony Robbins, I bought all 4 of his books. I'm excited to read those. But you just mentioned something that then I want to jump into another question. You mentioned enjoying it along the way, too. I think
Mm.
it's so easy in business to get so wrapped up in, like, failing on targets and not achieving and, getting disappointed. And then before you know it, we're like, it's affecting our mood and our attitude and we stop having fun. I want to, like you just said, I want to remind everyone we are meant to have fun along the way. And I can tell you this, our company, uh, absolutely thrives and revenue grows and our people's happier and our audience feels it when Cody Askins is in a good place and is having fun and is happy, right? It shows so much. So I want to remind everybody, dude, I don't care whether you're brand new or you're as big as Edward Pritchett one day, like, have some fun along the way. Also, we talked about, like, how do you hold yourself accountable, and why is it important for agents to hold themselves accountable? And two, if they're like, I don't know how to hold myself accountable, but I need it, where could they go to get it?
I mean, for myself, I have mentors that I've said, like, here's like my 4 goals for the year. My mentors know what they are.
So you still have a mentor, even at this level.
Yes, I better have one. Good gracious. I would be in a loony bin if I didn't have a
Yeah,
mentor.
me too.
Um, no, I mean, as you like, if you're wanting to level up, if you're wanting to get to another level, you got to be talking to somebody who's at another level. Like,
Amen.
how do you get like that? How do you get somewhere that you've never been before by yourself? How does that work? Like, I mean, I'm sure Christopher Columbus did it, but he thought he was in India, so even he messed up. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
you did.
it's like, come on, like, we're not explorers anymore. We don't have to be. Like, most of the stuff that we want to do, it's been done before. Find someone who's done it and
Mm,
just tuck in and follow, man. It's so much, the
yeah.
slipstream is so much easier than being that lead goose out there in the front, right? That's why they
Amen.
fall back and they get in the back of the V formation at a certain point in time. So, yes, I have a mentor. Why people should have a mentor is for that reason. And then the way you can hold yourself accountable is, one, just make sure other people know what you're trying to do. And then two, find a tribe. We're
Mm-hmm.
tribal by nature. Like, we all want to be a part of a group. That's why people love being football fans, right? They're cheese heads, or they're, I mean, we can go down the list, whatever you call all the other different
Sure.
fans of sports teams, right? Um, so it's like, find a tribe that you can share. This is what I'm doing. This is where I'm wanting to go, and be accountable. Be accountable by saying, hey, I did XYZ worth of activity. You're not putting it out there because you need someone to give you an attaboy or an attagirl, right? This isn't for a pat on the back. It's just to let you and everyone else around you that support you know that you're putting the work in. Because
Mm-hmm.
there's some weeks you're going to put the work in where it's going to suck, right? There's going to be goose egg weeks. I don't
Yep.
care how great of a producer you are, right? There's going to be amazing weeks. And we want to be able to celebrate both because it's the activity consistently. Consistency is what gets you that win over the long haul. And having that group, having that mentor that you're sharing, here's what I'm doing. The best agent that I've ever worked with, I've worked with this gentleman for 14 years now.
Wow.
14 years as an agent in my organization. And this guy, he has probably the last 11 years now, he's grossed over 250,000 in place business every single year for 11 years. And even to this day, this guy has an activity report from me on a regular basis. I don't review
Mm.
the report anymore. I don't have to. I know what's going to be on it, right? But he does his activity because that's his accountability to himself, and that's his accountability to the greater, world around him.
Good.
Saying, I'm making sure that I'm doing what I need to do so that I do have another year that has that level of volume and production, right?
Strong.
So
It's
that's how
incredible.
you stay accountable, how you share, and why it's necessary. You have to do
Yeah.
it.
If they want to learn more and they're, you're talking about this giants community of like, learning, awakening their giant within and also holding themselves accountable. If they want to learn more, where do they go? What do they do?
Yeah, I mean, you can check it out on PritchettAgency.com. And I'm sure we'll share the link. We'll put the link in below, but it's just our Giants community. We'll drop that in right here. But it really is. This isn't a. It's not a recruiting thing. This is not a insurance thing. This is for anyone who wants to take. And I would start the way you can start. Get on Audible. Buy that book from Tony Robbins. At least maybe $6. I don't know, $6, $9,
Totally.
whatever. Set aside 2.5 hours and go through that. And when you go through that and you say, how can I keep reinforcing this? That's what our Giants community is there for.
Cool.
No cost for the Giants community. We're just there. I'm in there. It's geared towards, yes, I'm going to be challenging insurance agents because I know how to help them with their questions, concerns, and whatnot. But guys, sales also is sales. So there's going to be a lot of things in there that if you're just in sales and you want to improve on your ability as a salesperson, that's what it's there for, and just to be a place where you have a support team, support group to be able to hold you accountable because you're just being accountable just by saying this is what I'm going to be doing, and so that you can check on yourself the next time. Did I do it? No. Okay, I got to do it this week, right?
Yeah.
So
It's cool. Well, thank you for all you do. And thank you for being back on the Power Player
yes,
podcast and spitting some game, man. Thank you so much.
always good to be here, sir. Looking forward to more. I know we
Yes.
got a lot coming up this year.
Always, man. And thank you guys for hanging. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about out of everything that you just heard, all the nuggets, what are you going to do and take action on to be better in 2025? Because this was one of our better, more impactful, shorter podcasts with great content that can help you win and succeed. Thanks for hanging and listening to the Power Players podcast, and we will see you on the next one. Kaboom.